everybody, and welcome to another episode of Coming Up Milhouse. Today we talked about Season 6, Episode 15, Homie the Clown.
Homie the Clown, not to be mistaken for the In Living Color sketch.
Right.
I don't think so. Homie, don't play that.
But a very good episode of The Simpsons where Krusty's a little, light on cash, right? Because
Can't
he's
imagine why.
he's lighting his cigars with some funny stuff I'm sure we'll talk about. But so he opens a clown college to train some regional Krusties and make some money, and of course Homer decides he wants in on that action for some odd reason. Because he's
some odd reason.
Yeah, easily.
Because
he's easily swayed by advertising.
He's easily swayed by advertising because it's the first of the month.
New Billboard Day! He sticks his head out the window. Ah, there it is.
He stops at every new billboard and causes traffic jams, and it's food. Clown college, you can't eat that. But it still sticks with him because advertising at its best sticks in your mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I like this one. It's got a lot of good stuff in it.
It's true.
Yeah, this whole season's great, but this was a standout.
It is. It's one of the standout episodes for sure. And since we just mentioned new billboard new billboard day for the first of the month, it's close enough to the 1st of September that we're doing this episode. And I was asked to give a shout out to the Twitter account at New Billboard Day, and they have some funny memes on their account that go along with the Simpsons gag that we just mentioned.
That's right. Go check that out. It's funny stuff. All right, why don't we do our thing? Kick it off with line number 1.
Yes, he can take a simple everyday thing, like eating a bicycle, and make it funny. Good old Krusty.
Krusty can eat that bicycle and make it funny because ordinarily that's a simple thing that people
every day
do, I guess.
An everyday task like eating a bicycle. I would think that if he stopped that gag, he would save a little bit of money too.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things that Krusty does in this episode that would, if he gave up those habits, he would be able to save some cash instead of spending every dime that he has.
Mm-hmm. Not good with money.
Not at all. What about your first line?
My first line is after everyone graduates from Clown College, they go to the Clown College graduation ceremony. And Krusty is there with his mortarboard hat, and he's giving the speech. And he says, "You'll now go back to your hometowns and do swap meets, kids' parties, and all the piddly crap I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot clown pole."
Excellent choice there.
I liked it because that's just so
great,
silly.
Yes, 100%. Great line.
Yeah. What about you?
Ooh, I've never had a pair of pants that fit this well in my life. And Krusty looks at Homer and says, "Those are supposed to be baggy."
Baggy! And they were silly
Homer,
looking, but
yes,
they fit.
They fit Homer perfectly. Everybody else had baggy clown pants.
Yeah.
What about you?
So Homer starts actually doing clown gigs, and he finds out it's not all it's cracked up to be. There's a lot of abuse he takes, let's put it that way. And he's getting a little down. He actually is still working at the power plant, which I thought was interesting. So he's working at the power plant and doing clown gigs. And Lenny's asked him, like, why do you look so down, And Homer says, "When I started this whole clown thing, I thought it would be all glory. The glory of being a clown. But when I see the looks in those kids' eyes, I just know they're planning to jab me with something."
He set you up expecting that he loves every second.
Yeah, you thought he was going to be like, "But I see the look in their eyes, it's all worth it." No, they're planning to jab me with something.
Yes.
Oh, man.
What a great episode.
Lots of funny stuff. Well, that takes us into scenes. What's your scene?
Well, I have to go with the dinner table scene right after new billboard of the month, and Vera's getting my feet. So,
Yep.
and Homer is sitting there playing with his mashed potatoes, making a circus tent out of his mashed potatoes, and then he looks up and he's imagining do 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 do, and everybody looks like a clown, and then that's it. You people have stood my way long enough. I'm going to clown college.
And he bursts up and takes off with no like warning as to where any of that came
And
from.
the family's
to the
like,
family.
That wasn't what we were expecting at all. So
That is a classic like moment in the show, in my opinion. You know me, I spout that line off every now and then just for
Every now and then.
goofs. So a great one.
what about you?
So my scene is a little bit before that. So, okay, as we mentioned, Homer's seeing all these billboards and all these things for food he's into, and then he sees a billboard for clown college, and he's like, but then it cuts to him at the power plant, and he's got all these food products on his workbench, you know, and on his console, and he's like, okay, I don't need nothing else, and then he starts thinking about the clown college one, and then Lenny comes in. He's like, hey, Homer, aren't you supposed to be monitoring this section? It's on fire. And then Homer looks at Lenny, and Lenny's a clown. And then people come in, and they're clowns. And then it fades from that, and they're all on fire going, ah!
Yeah.
And then and Homer still got clown fantasies on the brain. And so that whole thing... when he's supposed to be stopping this section from burning instead.
No, he's just completely daydreaming and visualizing clown college, even though it had nothing to do with food. That billboard really stuck with him.
Nope, he's just easily swayed.
Yes, and apparently he can scratch the itch that he gets when he sees new advertisements, that he can go to the store and buy the food and then stop thinking about those billboards. But with clown college,
he had to actually commit to clown college to get it out of his head.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Funny stuff.
Who is your winner this week?
So I'm going to go with Fat Tony. It's not as obscure, but the reason why I'm going with Fat Tony is because, of course, Krusty owes Fat Tony a bunch of money. So Fat Tony takes over the clown college, and he's got one of his goons teaching at the clown college, and the goon says something like, you know, when you're done performing for these kids, maybe you should rob them, you know, something like that.
Because kids have a lot of money.
Yeah, kids got a lot of money these days. You know, when you're done entertaining them, you should consider robbing them. So, and then it dawned on me, I'm like, Fat Tony is going to end up with an empire of robbing clowns. Isn't that, like, kind of nuts? Like,
it is.
He'll have, like, a whole fleet of clown robbers under his thumb because he got the clown college. I think that's like a story right there.
It is a story.
I'd like to see that, you know.
Oh, boy.
All right. So anyway, that struck me as, like, kind of cool and scary, you know.
He's going to be in the money.
Yeah.
And
Mafia kid robbing clown gang. There you go. Fat Tony. That was a good purchase for his $48 that Krusty owed him or whatever.
Yes. And oddly, I stuck in the same family, and I went with Don Vittorio as my winner. And Don Vittorio is at the restaurant, and Homer is impersonating Krusty, so they think he's really Krusty. And Don Vittorio is my winner because he has Homer try riding the little bike gag. That doesn't quite work out, but Krusty comes in and saves the day. And boy, oh boy, did Don Vittorio get a show, because Krusty riding a little teeny bike that's smaller than this can of stuff, and Homer on his shoulders covering his eyes. They did some amazing tricks throughout the bar restaurant and did the loop-de-loo a few times, and then Homer ate the bike. And so that was a good show, on top of the fact that they got paid $48.
Here's 50 into your change. Thank you. All this fuss for
All
$40.
the fuss for $48. And who's your loser this week?
So I'm going to go with the women of Springfield whose husbands are also easily swayed by billboards, because one of the billboards said, "This year, give her English muffins instead of diamonds," or whatever. So there's probably a bunch of Springfieldian husbands giving their wives English muffins for Valentine's Day or anniversaries or whatever. And I thought, they probably didn't make out that great. So that was my own.
Well, our viewer, Luke, shared the Twitter account with me yesterday, and one of the memes on there was, "This year, give her cabbage," and it was rolled cabbage was the billboard. So I'd personally rather take the English muffins over the rolled cabbage.
So there you go. I mean, the ladies of Springfield with husbands that are easily swayed like Homer aren't getting the best shakes from these billboards. What do you got for losing?
Well, so it's a toss-up, and I wrote them both down because I figured you would go with one of them, and so I have to mention both of them. It's a toss-up between the wealthy dowager and the hamburglar, because both of them actually get their heads smashed in this episode.
They stealing all the burgers!
Homer doesn't realize that it's a gag for that particular moment. And then I'll go with the wealthy dowager because she shows up to clown college for whatever reason. And Krusty says, "Oh, well, when the wealthy dowager shows up, you think the gig's over." And then gets a pie and smashes it in her face. And her head goes back to the wall, and you see the wall crack behind her. And so she's just stuck on the wall with her head and a pie on her face, and there's no other movement after that moment. And it quickly cuts away from it, but I'm going with her.
And Homer's taking notes, and he writes, "Kill wealthy dowager."
Exactly. So she's my loser this week, but also paired with the hamburglar, who also didn't have a great
both of them. There were quite a few losers. So
100%. They were easier to come by than winners this week, but
yeah, easily.
That was it.
All
Again,
right.
Season 6, Episode 15, Homie the Clown. And it's a fantastic episode. You can watch it or clips of it if you would rather do that. Go right ahead. Share your favorites in the comments below. Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. Be sure to subscribe over here. If you have anything you'd like us to share in future episodes, feel free to share that in the comments as well. We'd be happy to do that. And until next time,
Jiminy Jillikers!
Alright, now there can only be one Krusty in each territory, so I hope this works out. Tell me where you're from.
Georgia. Texas.
Brooklyn.
Russia.
New Hampshire.
Homer.